Sometimes things take time, maybe even 21 years to view them. And that's the case today. Our guest here today has by far been one of the most requested review videos, review topics that we have been all over the state. And everybody always asks about your second state championship in '03, but you can't win two if you don't win one. And you have to
That's right.
start that journey somewhere. So, sir, if you would, tell us who you are.
My name is Scott James Cooper. I
And you
am
wrestled,
from LaRue County.
I was going to say, you wrestled LaRue County, the Hawks, man.
Yep.
Hodgenville. We went down and done some videos. We done uh, Jason Dietrich, 1998-99. We done Jim Shaw, 1999, and we done Ozzie Parker's '06. And it was, kind of cool. First time I'd ever been to LaRue County. Like I'd passed through, but actually going to Hodgenville, we went to, I think it's called Hayes, if I'm not mistaken, and
That's a great place to go.
Oh, bro, and it was great. First time I'd ever been. Jim, we were there in his office there right downtown Hodgenville,
Yeah.
and we done the videos there. And he walked me over for lunch to Leahy because we were waiting on Dietrich to get there from, I don't know where he was coming from, but we went over there and ate. And I was like, man, this is I think every small town in Kentucky has their own like version of Leahy's, or they have,
Yep.
as Kentucky headhunters say, they have their own Dumas Walker. But it was good, and we kind of know that. Well, we don't kind of know. We know that LaRue County is one of the wrestling schools of Kentucky. They
Yep.
are basically known for their wrestling program. There's a few of those. You've got of course, your Union counties, your Woodford counties. But I would have to
Yep.
say, man, LaRue County, just being known as a wrestling school, I would say LaRue County is probably in the top three, because it's kind of hard to say, Union County and Woodford with their state championships, their individuals, their
Yep.
teams. But I'd say, man, right there in that on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling schools is LaRue County. So, how do you find wrestling? Now, kind of give us the whole story, but how do you find wrestling?
I have a big family, and there's four other boys than me,
Okay.
and they all wrestled later on in their life, so closer to like high school.
Okay.
And they were all pretty good. One of my older brothers went to Nebraska for college and
Wow.
wrestled up at Nebraska, so he won a state
Interesting.
championship himself. Um, but ever from a really young age, I think it was about 6 when I started wrestling. It was just a passion. I wanted to be better than my brothers. Wanted to
Yep.
wanted to one up them, and I knew I was gonna have to take time to do it. But it kind of started from there. Something that I don't know if there's a lot of people that know about it, but me and my twin brother actually started the middle school program at LaRue County.
Okay.
So we actually sought after a teacher that was willing to learn to be a coach for wrestling that didn't know much coaching, and so we actually we started it up. We were obviously the team leaders, and we basically ran practice and came in and said this is what we're doing. So that was pretty fun. We actually had practice in a classroom where we had mats
Oh,
up on the
really?
sides of the
Wow.
classroom walls, up on the windows as well.
That's
So yeah,
cool. Now
it's
that
pretty interesting.
So you started early in life, man, and of course
Yep.
it, as you guys will see by the brackets and here watch the videos, it paid off for you. So I think you were telling me as we were setting this up, we've been trying to get together for a while, but as you
Yep.
were telling me, did you move into Kentucky? Is that correct?
We did. So the beginning of my middle school years, my dad got offered a better job,
Okay.
and we moved down. One of my older brothers actually came with him and decided what school that we were going to go to. So he went with my dad, and they did like a walkthrough and stuff like that. And he thought LaRue County was the place for us to be.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we went. At that time, Jimmy Shaw was there, and
Oh yeah.
Chris was being a big advocate of wanting us to come there. Um, but yeah, we kind of got chose by my older brother. So, but yeah,
That's And did any of your brothers, older or younger, wrestle in Kentucky that we may know?
No, it was all in Nebraska. All of them went
Okay,
to high
okay. No,
school in
that's
Nebraska.
because as we'll talk a little bit later, the between Simon Kenton in the early 2000s in LaRue County, man, the Coopers, they were everywhere. I mean, every
Yep.
time you just pull up a state finals replacement, there was a Cooper from one. It seems like there was a Cooper from one or the other. So I just was kind of curious about that. So you move to LaRue County, just so we can get. What were the other choices of schools that you were looking at, or your family
I
was looking
believe
at?
Elizabethtown was one of them, and I'm trying to think of the other one. It was a little ways away. It was closer to the edge of Elizabethtown to the north. Um, what is it? It's not
Maybe
Bullet.
North Hardin.
Yeah, it probably was North Hardin.
Okay,
So there
all
was
right.
only
That's
a couple because it was kind of like where my dad's job was. It was kind of like in the middle of all of that stuff. So he had
okay.
to drive no matter what.
I got you. And so you come to LaRue County, put on that this distinctive blue and white of LaRue County, the Hawks, man, and the rest is history, as they say, right?
Yeah, that's
All
basically
right.
it.
So before we get into your 2002 and your prior years, let's go over the LaRue County history just real quick. LaRue County has 11 um, state individual champions. Like I said, we've met with Jason Dietrich, 98, 99, Jim Shaw, 99, Ozzy, 06, uh, 2001, Todd Allen, 2007, Darwin Perez, 2010, Drew Newberry, 2012, Bernard Ray, and recently, 2022, Braden Horton won, I think, 120 pounds in a really good match. There for that state championship. And I think what's most impressive is LaRue County has 5 state duels team championships before they were classed.
Yeah.
99, 2001, 2006, 2007, and 2011. And there's been several coaches that were in the game then have talked about how tough LaRue County was just in duels. Like you didn't want to face them because Gary
Yep.
Canner, Coach Canner, was an expert at bumping guys around, knowing where he can get extra points, knowing how, hey, we can forfeit this one, but we can get the win here. And of course, 5 state dual championships, man, before they were classed, that's saying something. It really is.
Yeah, pretty crazy. It is pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, our coaches were pretty great at just saying, "Hey, man, you're gonna have to buck it up today, and you're gonna have to move up. That's just how
Yeah.
it is." Or, "Hey, we really need you to cut down one weight class just for this duel."
And you were a part of that '01 team, correct?
Yep.
That's what I thought. And then LaRue County has 2 state tournament runner-ups, '01, which you were a part of. And
Yep.
then 2005, they had a tie with Ryle for second place. So 2 state tournament runner-ups and 5 team state champion or state dual championships. That's like I said, man, LaRue County, man, that name is just, when you see that, forget Abraham Lincoln. We think wrestling in Kentucky.
Yeah, that
So
is
let's
very
start
true.
off though with your high school career as far as how you placed in the state tournament.
Sure.
2000, 125 pounds as a freshman, placed third in the third and fourth place match. You get a fall over a good friend of the channel and former referee, Chris Spurlock from Perry County Central. You get a
Yep.
fall in 3 minutes. Oh, you got the medal there. That's
Yep.
awesome. That's awesome, man.
So that's the third place right here.
That is cool that you kept, and it looks like it's in great shape too.
Yeah, I actually let my son play with it.
Oh, do you? Hey,
Yeah.
I get it. Then in 2001, you're a sophomore, 130
Yep.
pounds. Now, this video is already on the channel. Have you got to watch that video yet with Neil?
Yeah, I did get to watch with Neil.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to Neil's house there in Louisville and we done the 130-pound 2001. Neil, he was a senior, man. He was tough. He was. He's
He
a
was
great
pretty tough.
wrestler. He gets you with a 5-3 decision, and that, like I said,
Yep.
after you watch these two, go back if you so choose and watch that because I mean, it's a good match. It really is. But Neil was
It was.
just a senior, man. Sometimes being a
He
senior
was. He
pay
was a
is
little
worth a
bit
few
bigger and a little
points.
bit stronger than me.
Yeah, yeah. Just like man, being a senior, man, is
Yep.
worth a couple points every now and
So
then.
there's
What we're
that's
going to
that's
talk.
this medal right
Well,
here.
that's the silver. Oh, awesome.
Yep.
So I'm sure Neil will probably watch this. Neil, man, you knocked him out, buddy, 3-timer. But no,
You
I'm kidding.
did.
I'm
It was
kidding.
good. It was good watching you, Neil.
Yeah, Neil, man, Neil, just a little sidebar here. Whenever I was done 4 or 5 videos in Louisville in the Oldham County area that day, and it was in October, a little bit, couple weeks before Halloween. And when I call him, he's like, "Man, you can't miss my house. It has all the inflatables in front." And I pull up, and it looked like we were pulling up to like Spirit Halloween, all the stuff he had. It was, he could have had a drive-through haunted house there in his front yard. That's how much stuff he had up. But it was cool to meet with Neil and get that video on the channel. But 2002, though, you're a junior,
Yep.
140 pounds, and it's your year. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
year of Scott Cooper. There's So when you leave the dungeon in 2001, you make it to the finals, you come up, just a little bit short. What is the mindset, if you will? What is the mentality going into your junior year about, okay, this is the weight? Did you know what weight you were going to wrestle? Did you have, I'm not leaving Frankfurt without a state championship? What was the mentality on that?
I was still pretty heavy,
Okay.
being at 140. So I was about 12 pounds, sometimes 15 pounds over,
Okay.
most of the time, like naturally. So I was cutting down pretty good most of the time. Um, but I felt like 140 is kind of where I wanted to be. And then I just made 140 happen when I was a senior.
Yeah.
It was definitely a lot harder,
Hmm.
of a cut, that year, but there wasn't a real reason why I wanted to be 140. It just kind of felt right for myself.
And that, like you hear some of like the better uh, boxers, MMA practitioners now, male and female, they may be completely, not cutting a lot of weight, but they just say, "I feel comfortable at this weight. My body is
Yeah,
good at this weight." And that, when you wrestle a long time, used to cutting weight, sometimes you just know where you're comfortable at. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
just like,
for sure.
and you just know. And apparently, I guess 140 was your magic number that year.
Yeah,
So let's start off though with it. I could not find your record. Do you remember what your record was as a junior?
I don't. I was looking that up before I came here, but I had to leave for work, so
Okay.
I was kind of like scrambling around doing stuff around the house. I had to fix the sink and stuff, so
Yeah, I
um,
get it.
doing normal
Uh,
normal stuff. But I
Normal
haven't
life stuff,
looked.
right?
Yeah,
Well, the
but I will tell you that I did lose every year. There wasn't a year that I was ever undefeated. Even when I
it
came
had.
up with second, that was the time I got beat.
Oh, no kidding.
But that's just kind of one of those things for me. It didn't affect me that much. Like, if anything, it reset me on being focused on what I really wanted. It
I
just
got
told
you.
me, hey man, you relaxed too much. You didn't go in with your head straight on,
Yep.
and tomorrow you got to wake up and do better.
And there's so many guys that we've done this series with, or even you hear sports teams, basketball teams, baseball teams, whatever, anybody that competes. Sometimes the loss can do more good for you than a win. Maybe, like the old saying, Superman can bleed sometimes.
Yeah. And
So,
we'll talk a little more about that because one of my medals that is cherished to me is my biggest loss.
and I
Um,
know exactly where you're going. So
yeah,
let's save that.
and
We call that
yes,
a tease. We call that a
that's right.
tease. 2002, you're a junior. You start off your state tournament with a first round pin over Alex Heister from Campbell County, 5 minutes and 8 seconds. You go on to the second round. You're wrestling AJ Brumfield from Tate's Creek. You win a 6-3 decision, and AJ goes on to get seventh place that year.
Yep.
Into the quarters, you're wrestling David George from St. Xavier. You get another 6-3 decision. Now, this is kind of cool. I started putting the pieces of the puzzle together. In the semifinals, you're wrestling Steve Lovewell from South Oldham, and you win that by a major decision, 10-1. He goes on to get sixth place that year. You get to the finals, you're wrestling John Thompson from Sheldon Clark. Now, we're not going to tell you how the match ends, but what I was going to tell you, about that, and you may know, but for those of you watching, you may not know this. In 2003, Steve Lovewell and John Thompson met in the 145-pound state championship match, with Lovewell winning that. That 2003, that was, of course, we graduated the same year.
Yep.
2003 South Oldham team was one of the best teams in Kentucky history. I mean, they were they were loaded from 103 to, I think they podiumed 13 or 14 guys that year, if I'm not mistaken. They were like just on it. They had
That's
a
crazy.
stud roster. But you're wrestling John Thompson in the 2002 state finals from Sheldon Clark. Had you wrestled John before this? Do you remember?
You know, I believe I have, but I don't remember, to be honest. It's been so long. I've been trying to really like wrap my head around and
Yeah.
bring back some memories, but um for the most part that year it was pretty, it was a lot easier than my senior year. I felt like I had an easier time.
Right.
I definitely still had some good close matches,
Hmm.
but I didn't feel like it was as challenging, to be honest, as my senior year.
Okay. Well, that's, I mean, I was, trying to think where, because Coach, of course, Coach Matney is no longer with us. Rest in peace to Coach Matney. But he was notorious for wrestling off his regular season, because Martin County is right on the West Virginia border, and he could go to Ohio, West Virginia, Virginia, even down into Tennessee, and only see Kentucky wrestlers in like the state duels, or when back
Yeah.
when we had districts, regions, and in state. So very rarely, even when he was at Johnson Central, very few times did they actually wrestle in the state. So I was trying to think, the only place you guys may have even come close to matching up would have been at the state duels in
Yeah,
'02.
and it probably was state duels, but
Okay.
I like I said, it's a little hazy thinking about that
Yeah.
so far,
I,
so far ago. So
buddy, I completely understand. All right. So we are going to get our, well, before I say that, it's been a day or two since you've seen your videos, correct? Your finals matches.
yeah, I mean I haven't seen them ever, so
Right.
I've never gone back.
That's exactly what we wanted to hear. Is, this is going to be your true reaction as you're watching along with us. So you guys are seeing what we're seeing. We're at the Dungeon in Frankfort, 2002, on a cold February evening. You have been in the finals before as a
Yep.
sophomore. You come up a little bit short. You've kind of been here before, but you're a year older, a little bit more experience. What are you thinking as you're standing back? Because in case you've never been to the dunk course, it no longer exists. But as you guys can see, there's like an open curtain, and there used to be a practice mat back there. And that's where the
Yeah.
finalists would stand. And as you'll see, one finalist come out from left, the other side come out from the right. But you're back there. I mean, what are you thinking before they, 140 pounds from LaRue
You
County? What are you thinking? What's going through your head?
and I think it's pretty typical for most people that are wanting to be champions to kind of like run through the mindset of how that they want the match to go.
Okay.
I'm not really thinking about anything too else, just trying to be relaxed. Just like most people, I had my own, mixtape.
Burnt
Most of
CD,
the
probably,
time,
right?
it was a CD.
I was going to
Um,
say.
I never had my own CD player, so I always borrowed it from Jonathan Slinker. So
Okay.
a call out there for you.
Yeah.
I certainly appreciate it, Slink. But I usually listen to Offspring, and I had some other stuff that I did. I know Jimmy Shaw had a song he didn't want anybody to know, but I actually listened to a song off of Hercules from Disney.
Okay.
Um, and but it was one of those songs that just brought you down, slowed your heart rate down, reset everything.
Yep.
Um but yeah, I mean, I think just normal stuff, just trying to stay relaxed, run through what I wanted to do, and stay focused on really who I was, and at that time just be in the moment, enjoy it. I think that's especially from being there before and getting second. I just didn't enjoy it as much. And
I can understand that.
every time I got there, I was like, hey man, you know, loosen up, get ready, hear the people, enjoy just everything around you. Like, just like you said, like, this was like a spectacle. I mean, the way that they did our matches for state championships with the bright light on you, man,
Oh, come
it
on.
was a feeling beyond anything else. I mean, people had glow sticks out, shaking them out. People had like glow in the dark writing on signs and stuff. Like, it was just it felt crazy, but so cool at the same time. It was very rewarding for sure.
It felt like a true state championship. Like the eyes
It
of
really
the
did.
state are on me right now.
Yeah, it felt like a movie, like you watch
That's it.
those movies and you're like, you're in it, man. This is your scene. You better get ready. So it did
And
add like a little bit of pressure to it, but the older I got, the more I enjoyed it. The more I was like, yeah, everybody's watching. I'm watching me. All eyes. It was pretty amazing.
brother, I get it. Are you ready to go back to 2002?
I'm ready. Let's do this.
Let's go, man. Let's go. There you come. Got the hood on, man. Doing the double hood. I love it. Got the hoodie on and then the hood off.
Yeah, I always had two hoods. It's my Punisher sweater I had underneath it.
Oh, really?
Yep.
And here we go. So you come up to the line. You've been here before. What are we thinking?
Something that not a lot of people knew about was I had a torn meniscus.
Oh.
And so you saw how I bent down right there?
Yep.
That's me getting my meniscus out of my knee joint. So I do that throughout the match. But, it's just, I don't know, just staying focused, trying to stay true to my plan, just like I was talking about when you're in the back there thinking about stuff.
So you kind of feeling out each other right there, go out of bounds,
Yep.
You come back, kind of reset a little bit.
He was definitely a strong guy for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, John, he had some arms on him.
Yep.
Sure did. So we're out.
Yep.
Out of bounds. What are we looking to do here? Like, are we looking to take him down right out of the gate? We looking to let him make a mistake?
That's kind of how I always was. I always wanted the first takedown. I always wanted to have the first points. I definitely always wanted to be an aggressor. So I felt like I always went into the match always shooting right away. I wanted a low single. But that's just kind of how I wanted to do it. I wanted to get in there, and then I wanted to do a tight waist most of the time since I had really long arms. I could wrap my arms all the way around somebody without being, on the same side, which confused a lot of people for the most part.
Since we're not like doing this, together, about how tall are you?
I'm 5'10". I count myself as 5'11".
Okay.
But I think I come out to be 5'10".
So we go out of bounds. You got a takedown.
Yep.
So on top, are we just looking to throw legs in like you're doing right there? We're looking for a turn. I mean, what are we? I know it's always, the goal is to
I
get the
like
fall.
to throw legs in and then just do this straight up, do an arm bar, and then stretch them out a little bit, and then usually just find an opening is what I always had. Go from being a little bit more defense on top.
Okay.
I didn't really, I didn't really have a favorite spot though. Like, I just wanted to have something in each area that I knew I could be 100% at. and do my best with. And then I usually had 2 or 3 that I was really good, but not like as good as the other stuff.
Right.
But I was pretty comfortable anywhere. I knew if I was going to be a champ, I had to have something in every area.
That's a heck of a mindset to have. So he deferred, or you deferred. He took down, which is standard practice. It's like you're trying.
Just like Neil, I always did this if I got the chance. I was always like, nope, wow, you go ahead and you pick it.
He gets a reversal right there, and you don't look to panic. You look like, okay, it's just a reversal. I can get out of this. Like he's trying for like a bow and arrow, some type of tilt or whatever, gets a near fall.
Yep.
I believe it's 2-2 now, tied up.
Yep, it is tied up.
Out of bounds. I'm not sure who this referee is, the head referee. I think the assistant is Dave Barnett, I think. I'm sure somebody will.
The head ref, I had quite a bit throughout wrestling. I remember him. I don't remember names very well. I know faces.
Yeah.
Like, I will never forget a face. But I definitely had him be a ref quite a bit for me.
It looks like George Keeney from West Virginia, but I don't know if he got to referee back then, but over here. But it could be. I'm sure somebody will. One of our referee colleagues will let us know. So you're trying. I'm not sure if it's like a switch or what that is that you're trying, but I saw that and I was like, that's a tech.
He was doing something, and then I was like, well, I'll just try it, trying to do somewhat of a switch, but then he gets way too top heavy over there, so I just pulled through.
So you get a reversal on him. So 4-2 now.
Yep. So I feel like I'm moving all over the place watching it.
Yeah, no, hey, listen, it happens, man. You're trying to wrestle it. Go back all those years later, man, trying to, come on, man, what are we doing? Get out there.
That's right. Should be close to the end of the period.
It should be close. Yep, good call. So you're going to take down.
Yeah, and I always pick down. I probably felt just as confident standing, but I knew I could always get 1 point, and I think that's always someone's mindset. Like, and then the other thing was I was like, I'm not about to have anybody hold me down anymore, So I had that mindset where I was like, I'll just get up, but he just lit me up. So
he cut you right there, and that was before you could just look at the referee and give your one and get your neutral. So it's 5-2 now, 5-2. Doing a good job. I think he's trying for what they call a bowling ball right there. Trying to throw your head by. I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like from here. Nothing. And you just technique your way to a takedown.
Yeah, just nice and steady. Stay the course.
So it's 7-2, I believe.
Yeah.
Trying for like a power half.
Yeah, that's usually what I did when I got on top with legs, and then I got way too high, which I believe that year, this year that we're watching, I got pinned at a rando tournament with double legs in, and then I got way too high, and then he pulled over top and pinned me. So that was like my one match. That guy came back. I believe he was the number 7th guy.
Oh, really?
So he did well for himself.
From Tate's Creek to Broomfield?
I believe that's right.
Okay. And I want to correct something. I said I don't know if that's Dave Barnett as the assistant or not. I think I'm mistaken on that. I'm not sure who it is. So you're up with, I would say, probably a minute to go in the third. I'm sure you probably practiced or have drills of where it's like defense, not getting turned, just, I'm not saying lay on the bottom, But
No,
just
yeah,
like I said, I don't know what everybody calls it something different, but just drills to where you don't mind to lay there, but you're not going to get turned. All right,
yeah.
optional
That's
start. We'll give you an optional start, cut you. So it's
yep.
8. You got 8 points now.
I wonder what the ref said to me. I don't remember what he said when I was out there and out of bounds just a second ago. I'm pretty sure he's like, "You're gonna have to keep wrestling."
Keep wrestling. That may be Barnett. I don't know. Looks like it.
I definitely like to shoot. I
Yeah,
don't think
no,
he's
you.
taking one shot the whole time.
And there it is, man. End of the match.
Yep.
You win by a score of 8-4. First state championship.
Pretty
And
awesome.
oh, dude, and that kid right there gets in the shot. I'm not sure who that is. If you know who that is, tag them. We also have the medal ceremony from O2. And the way also too, if you weren't never at the dungeon, the whenever the matches would finish on the mat, they would turn on just the spotlight on the podium. As you guys can kind of tell, there's powerful spotlights here on the podium, so that was cool too.
It was. It was definitely an event. Like they really made you feel very, very special. There wasn't very many other sports that I've ever seen too much stuff like that for.
Oh, bro, it's like I said in every video. We know Kentucky is a high school basketball state. I mean, it's they call it the greatest show in hoops, but this was
Yep.
the best state tournament atmosphere the KHSAA has ever produced, ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's pretty
not even
fantastic.
close.
I would have to say I would have to tell them thank you very much. It definitely made the environment just a special one.
Oh, bro, come on, it's the best. Now, did you have a lot of family and friends in the house here at this state
Yeah,
tournament?
well, I have a big family, so a lot of them came down. There's 8 kids in my family and my two
Oh my,
parents. So, uh, I don't know if
and
everybody got to come, but quite a bit of them did. But I mean, I've been wrestling at LaRue County for a long time, so I knew a lot of people. Um, and so I had a huge fan base. I feel like, I definitely feel like I had a lot of people look up to me, that I didn't know until I got older. So, it's pretty amazing. The atmosphere, especially when you win, is just, I mean, it's like crushing noise, you
oh, that's
know.
what I was gonna. That was my next question. Is do you remember the crowd like hearing the noise and stuff?
Definitely my 2 times that I won, um, like I said, I was really trying to take everything all in. One of my older brothers was like, this is your time. You need to really just sit back and try to enjoy it as much as you can because you might forget it if you don't.
That's
And,
true.
you know, the sound is so much. I mean, there's thousands of people there.
Yeah.
And, I know you talk about it quite a bit in some other videos, but I had specific people that I could always hear. It definitely
Yep.
didn't ever deaf them down or bring down
Mm-mm.
the volume for them for me. My twin brother was always somebody I could hear offhand, and my dad was the other. Obviously,
Yeah.
I was always listening to my coaches.
Right.
But they sometimes, most of the time, dropped to the background, and I usually heard my twin brother the most. He was obviously probably closer because he could get closer.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
Now, for
my
those of
dad
us
was
that don't know, what's your twin brother's name? I'm sorry.
Andrew.
Okay. And okay, I got you.
Yep,
For um that I don't he wrestled, correct?
yep, yep. He was a pretty
Okay,
good wrestler.
that's what I thought. So you're you come off the mat, you get your medal, you know that you I guess it had to be a goal to win state because nobody, like I
Yep,
said in other videos, nobody breaks down the huddle, 1, 2, 3, second place, or 1, 2, 3,
yep.
runner up or whatever. So you climb the top of the mountain. What do you have any like recollection of what you were thinking? Like, oh my gosh, I've done it, or it's time to hit the gym again and let's go back and defend it as a senior.
You know, I didn't ever really think about defending it. I just always planned on getting better. And that's kind of how I did everything. Even when I lost matches, that's
Mhm.
basically how I viewed my life at the time. Is every step I took was something that's going to advance me in the goal that I wanted for next year, which was obviously to be another state champ.
Right.
Um, and if I can do that, be the most outstanding wrestler, which definitely happened. There was actually some other stuff that happened that I didn't have in my goals, but definitely, you know, it just happened from all the glory that I had, and I was fortunate enough to, be a part of it.
I got now. You have that medal with you,
Oh yeah, yeah,
the
yep,
O2 medal. Let's
yep.
take a
Let's
peek
do
at
it
that
right here.
baby right there, man. You got it forever.
Yep,
And there's some other hardware we're going to show in another video, the O3
yep.
video. So just kind of be looking for that in the next video. But as far as the O2 season, man, your O2 state championship, you have before we move on to the video everybody's been dying to watch since I posted the teaser and those people that have heard the stories. Do you have anything else about your O2 state championship season or anything like that to add before we wrap it up?
Not too much. It was a great season. Um, I feel like there was definitely great competitors. Obviously, my state finals match, the guy was definitely great. Um, I was just, just a little bit better, a little
No,
bit
you
ahead of
were
him.
you were better. There's no,
Um,
I mean, you can say that you were.
but just like everybody else, I don't want to be too cocky, but I was pretty confident in myself, and I knew that year starting off was it just felt all right, if I just stayed
Definitely.
on course, which is always sometimes a hard thing to do. Um, but I knew if I just did that, I could get to the end and be a champ. So
But I said that, but I got something to add. We have
sure,
talked to um, we've talked to David Carr. I'm familiar with David Carr, four-time state champion from
yep,
Ohio. He won as eighth grader in Kentucky, national champion at Iowa State. Probably going to be a national. He was in the finals this past year. Probably going to be a national champion this year. We've talked to Austin and Stephen Myers. Stephen was a state champion in Ohio. Austin, I think, placed in Ohio. I mean, we've talked Nathan Boston, Woodford County, state champion in Indiana, come to Kentucky, two-time state champion, coming from Nebraska and living, now back in Nebraska. Kentucky wrestling is as good as you'll find anywhere. I think
yeah,
people don't understand how good Kentucky wrestling is at the top level. Maybe not. Everybody says it's the depth, and that's true. From about our fourth place down to eighth, and that's no offense to anybody places fourth. But when you
yep,
start getting into that depth, kind of like a football team, you've got your ones, your twos, and your threes that run whatever. But when it comes to state champion, state runner up, Kentucky's as good as anybody.
yeah. I believe we'd put most people to the test. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
And I it's something that occurred over and over when we were going to, tournaments outside of the state or
Mm.
just going to, wrestling camps. Everybody looked at us like, okay, I'm glad we're getting to
Yeah.
wrestle some puds today, but it never ended up that way, and most of the time, it always got heated
I can
because
imagine.
they didn't think it was going to be as difficult, and so there's quite a few times where we're at wrestling camps, and we were all face to face being like, all right, let's go, you think that this is going to be so cakewalk,
Yeah.
let's see what you really got, but for something I'd like to say about LaRue County is, we're tough. um, uh,
Absolutely.
a lot of the things that we did, and I hope is still held high, is that we come out and we like to bang heads, and we like to be aggressive, and we wrestled hard,
Hmm.
so that was something that I think that LaRue County is definitely, in my opinion, should be known for, is just being really down hardcore people that just wanted to, run through people.
And that's still, uh, they still have. Believe me, I especially like their youth and middle school. So those
Yeah.
those little guys and girls are tough as they come. You cannot. They're. I mean, it's 100 miles an hour, man, nonstop, and they're ready to go. As soon as they blow the whistle blows, man, they're like a Tasmanian devil. I mean,
Yeah.
they're nonstop. So I guess it instills you in high school the same way. We have covered the 2002. We've covered a lot of ground here, but we know you guys are wanting to watch the 2003. So that, of course, will be a separate video. So after you enjoy this one, go watch the 2003 video. So we're going to end it here. We'll see you guys in 2003.